Okay, so today we are diving into the world of database development.
Which is a field that's absolutely booming right now.
Right.
Everyone's talking about data these days.
Yeah.
But database developers are the masterminds behind it all.
hmm
They're the architects building the systems that keep our digital world running.
And the best part is it's not just hype.
The job market for this field
Yeah.
is on fire.
It's hot.
It's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics actually projects a 9% growth in database-related jobs over the next decade,
Wow.
which is much faster than average for all occupations.
Yeah, that's huge.
When you think about it, every industry from healthcare to finance, entertainment to e-commerce,
Right.
they're all generating massive amounts of data.
Yeah.
And they need skilled professionals to organize, analyze, and make sense of it all.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you, as a potential database developer, come in.
That's a really great point. It's not just about lines of code. It's about solving real world problems across all these different industries.
Yeah.
Now, I've been digging into this RoleCatcher career guide.
And it paints a pretty fascinating picture of what a database developer actually does.
Okay.
It's like a blend of detective work.
And, well, building an actual database,
I like that analogy.
you're not just building a digital warehouse to store information.
Uh-huh.
You're designing the blueprints, laying the foundation, and even setting up the security system.
Wow.
It requires a very specific skill set, a blend of technical prowess and creative problem solving.
So the guide talks about how database developers need to be fluent in languages like SQL and Python. Yes. Now, I'll admit, those sound a bit intimidating to someone like me who's more comfortable with words than code.
Can you break down what those languages actually do in the context of database development?
Absolutely.
Imagine you have a massive library with millions of books.
Okay.
SQL, or structured query language, is like the librarian that helps you find the exact book you're looking for.
Okay.
You use it to retrieve specific data from the database, sort it, filter it, and make sense of it.
Okay.
Python, on the other hand, is more like a powerful tool you can use to automate tasks, build custom applications around the database, and even analyze large data sets for trends and insights.
Oh, well.
It's this dynamic duo of SQL and Python that allows developers to create truly powerful and efficient systems.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
So it's like SQL helps you find the information, and Python helps you put it to work.
Exactly.
Got it.
Now, I'm also curious about the different types of database systems out there.
Sure.
The guide mentions Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server.
It seems like a jungle out there.
What's the deal with all these different options?
Yeah, it can be a bit overwhelming.
But each of these represents a different type of database management system, or DBMS.
Okay.
Think of them like different operating systems for your computer.
Okay.
Each has its own strengths and weaknesses, depending on the specific needs of the project.
Okay.
For instance, Oracle is like the heavy-duty truck of the database world.
Oh, okay.
It's robust, reliable, and often used by large enterprises for handling massive data sets and complex transactions.
So if Oracle is the heavy-duty truck, what would you say MySQL is?
MySQL is more like a versatile SUV.
It's open source, meaning it's free to use,
Okay.
and known for its speed and flexibility.
You'll find it powering everything from small websites to bustling e-commerce platforms.
Wow.
Then you have SQL Server, Microsoft's offering, which is like a reliable sedan.
Popular among businesses heavily invested in the Microsoft ecosystem.
This is where it gets really interesting for me, because we're talking about choosing the right tools for the job,
Right.
weighing the pros and cons.
And that takes us beyond just coding, right? This is where the problem-solving and analytical thinking skills really come into play.
You hit the nail on the head.
A good database developer isn't just a code monkey.
They're strategic thinkers who understand the big picture. They need to be able to analyze a problem, understand the client's needs, and then choose the right tools and technologies to create a solution.
Okay, I'm starting to get a much clearer picture of what this role entails.
But the guide also mentions some potential downsides,
Okay.
the cons we often hear about.
Stress, long hours, the pressure to constantly be learning new things. It's a fast-paced, ever-evolving field, right?
It is.
So how does a database developer cope with those demands?
What keeps them going?
Well, let's be honest.
There will be deadlines demanding projects and times when you feel like you're drinking from a fire hose of information.
Right.
But here's the thing. If you're genuinely passionate about technology and find this work intellectually stimulating,
Yeah.
those challenges can actually be incredibly rewarding.
So with that drive.
That intellectual curiosity that fuels them.
Yeah.
It's not just a job. It's almost like a puzzle they're constantly trying to solve.
And let's not forget, this constant need to learn and adapt translates into some pretty incredible job security.
That's true.
In a world obsessed with data skilled, database developers are worth their weight in gold.
For sure.
But we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
You might be thinking this all sounds great, but how do I even get started in this field?
Right. Okay, so let's say you're listening to this and thinking, sign me up. Where do I start?
The RoleCatcher guide talks about gaining practical experience, but how important are those formal internships, really?
They're incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
You know?
Think of an internship as your chance to test drive the database developer role in a real-world setting.
Okay.
You'll be working alongside experienced professionals contributing to actual projects and seeing firsthand how those SQL and Python skills translate into tangible results.
So it's not just about checking a box.
No.
It's about immersing yourself in the work and proving that you can handle the heat.
But what about those of us who maybe don't have the time or opportunity for a full-blown internship?
Sure.
The guide also mentions personal projects.
Absolutely.
Personal projects are like gold on your resume,
Yeah.
especially in a field as hands-on as this. It's your chance to get creative experiment with different technologies and build something you're truly passionate about.
So it's like showcasing your skills in action, right?
it is.
Instead of just saying, I know SQL.
Right.
You can point to a project and say, I built this entire database using SQL.
Exactly.
And the beauty of personal projects is that they can be anything that interests you.
No.
Maybe you're a film buff.
Okay.
Design a database of your favorite movies, complete with ratings, reviews, and even connections to actors and directors.
That's cool.
Or perhaps you're a sports fanatic.
Okay.
Create a database to track player stats, team rankings, or even predict game outcomes.
That's a fantastic way to make it relevant to your own interests.
Right.
And while you're building these projects, you can start learning those industry standard tools.
Yes.
The guide talks about these integrated development environments, or IDEs.
What exactly are those, and how do they fit into a database developer's workflow?
Think of an IDE as your high-tech workshop,
Yeah.
their command center for building and managing databases.
Okay.
They're software platforms that combine everything you need in one place, code editors, debugging tools, even visual interfaces for designing database structures.
Oh, wow.
Two popular ones are Oracle SQL Developer for working with Oracle databases,
Well,
and MySQL Workbench for, you guess it, MySQL.
it's like having a Swiss Army knife for database development.
And speaking of tools, I have to ask about RoleCatcher's AI-powered job search platform.
This thing sounds like a game changer, especially in such a competitive job market.
It really is.
Imagine having a digital assistant that analyzes hundreds of job descriptions,
Okay.
identifies your most relevant skills and experience, and then tailors your resume and cover letter to each specific application.
Oh.
That's exactly what RoleCatcher's AI does.
It's not just about finding jobs. It's about making sure you stand out from the crowd.
Yes,
It's like having a secret weapon in your back pocket.
precisely.
And in today's world of automated resume scanners and algorithms,
Right.
having that edge can make all the difference.
Sure.
But let's not forget the human element.
While technical skills are paramount.
The RoleCatcher guide also stresses the importance of communication and collaboration.
Right, because building a database is rarely a solo endeavor.
Right.
You're working with teams, interacting with clients, explaining complex concepts in a way that's easy to understand.
Absolutely.
Even the most brilliant code can fall flat if you can't communicate its value
Right.
or work effectively with others to implement it.
That's true.
So honing those soft skills,
Yeah.
communication, teamwork, problem solving, is just as important as mastering the technical stuff.
Okay, so we've talked about the skills.
The tools,
Yeah.
the importance of real-world experience.
Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture.
Okay.
The RoleCatcher guide outlines different stages of a database developer's career.
Can you walk us through what that journey might look like?
Sure, it typically starts with those entry-level roles, like a junior database developer.
Okay.
Don't let the junior fool you, though.
You're already diving in head first.
Assisting senior developers, maybe doing some data entry troubleshooting issues, and really getting to know the ins and outs of the organization's database systems.
So it's about paying your dues,
Yeah.
learning the ropes, and proving yourself capable.
Right.
What comes next?
From there, you might move into a full-fledged database developer role.
You're given more responsibility, designing and maintaining databases, optimizing their performance, maybe even getting involved in implementing security measures to keep that precious data safe.
Oh, wow.
It sounds like the learning never really stops in this field.
There's always a new challenge, a new technology to master.
What?
And that's what keeps things interesting, right? You're
Yeah.
not just repeating the same tasks day in and day out.
Exactly.
And as you gain even more experience and expertise, you might find yourself moving into more specialized roles.
Okay.
Take big data, for example.
Okay.
We're talking about data sets so large and complex that traditional databases just can't handle them.
Wow.
This is where your skills as a database developer become absolutely crucial.
You might be designing and implementing distributed database systems,
Okay.
working with tools like Hadoop and Spark to process and analyze massive volumes of data.
So you're not just building a bigger database.
Right.
You're rethinking the entire approach to storing and processing information.
Yeah.
It's like going from architect to master builder.
The RoleCatcher guide also mentions something called data analytics as a potential career path. What's the connection there?
It's a natural fit.
Data analytics is all about extracting meaningful insights from data, uncovering patterns, and using that knowledge to inform decision-making.
As a database developer with a strong foundation in SQL data modeling, maybe even some Python scripting under your belt.
You're perfectly positioned to make that leap into the world of analytics.
So it's like you've already built the treasure trove.
Yes.
And now you're learning how to find the hidden gems within it.
Exactly.
And for those who enjoy leading and mentoring others, there's always the path of becoming a database architect or a database manager.
Absolutely.
A database architect is like the visionary, the one who defines the overall structure and strategy for the organization's database systems.
They're the ones making the big decisions about which technologies to use,
Okay.
how to ensure data integrity, and how to scale the systems to meet future demands.
So they're thinking about the big picture, the long-term vision,
Right.
while the database manager focuses more on the day-to-day operations.
Exactly.
Think of the database manager as the conductor of an orchestra.
All right.
They're responsible for making sure everything runs smoothly, from database maintenance and backups to performance tuning and user access.
They're also often involved in troubleshooting issues,
Okay.
managing teams of database administrators and developers, and ensuring that the databases are meeting the needs of the business.
Wow, it really sounds like there's a path for every interest and skill set within this field.
Yeah.
You can specialize, you can lead, you can constantly be learning and growing.
Before we wrap up, I wanted to circle back to something we touched on earlier.
Okay.
The importance of personal projects.
Right.
The RoleCatcher guide has some really cool examples.
And one that caught my eye was the idea of creating a movie database.
Okay.
Can you walk us through how someone might approach that?
Sure.
Even if they're just starting out with database development.
Imagine you're building this for a movie buff like yourself.
You'd want to store information about each film,
Like,
the title, director release date, genre. Then you might have a separate table for actors.
another for directors, and you'd link them all together.
You could even include ratings reviews.
Okay.
Maybe even links to trailers.
That's cool.
Like building your own mini IMDb.
Right.
And as you learn more, you could add features.
Sure. Like a recommendation engine that suggests films based on your favorite genres or actors.
Exactly.
You could even incorporate data from external APIs.
Like pulling in box office numbers or critic reviews.
Wow.
The possibilities are really endless.
And that's what makes personal projects so rewarding.
It's about taking an idea, no matter how simple,
Right.
and turning it into something tangible, something that showcases your skills and passion. This deep dive has been incredibly eye-opening.
We've explored the intricate world of database development.
From the core technical skills to the career paths and even the importance of those essential soft skills.
It's a fascinating field.
Yeah.
And one that offers immense potential for anyone with a passion for technology and a knack for problem solving.
It is.
Absolutely.
So if you're listening to this and feeling inspired,
remember, the journey of 1,000 lines of code begins with a single keystroke.
don't be afraid to dive in, experiment, and never stop learning.
That's great advice.
And of course, don't forget to check out the full Database Developer Career Guide and explore RoleCatcher's AI-powered job search platform using the links provided in the show notes.
They're invaluable resources for anyone serious about pursuing this exciting career path.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep innovating, and keep diving deep.